Okay, thanks for waiting, folks. Appreciate your patience there. Just waiting for the last attendees to come on. But we might as well rock straight into it. And those who don't manage to get on or come on late will be sent a recording anyway. So yeah, first and foremost, thank you very much for taking the time to join us today. It's an absolute pleasure to be able to reach our clients and potential clients around the globe during these interesting times. So yeah, just in brief, we have what we present today as our 2020, or the first of our 2020 webinar series. So this is just a complimentary webinar series, starting with our first How to Brand Plastics with Confidence. Now, we ran our first one a couple of nights ago to the UK Europe region with our good friend Walter Bernazzi, based in Canary Islands, which went great. So we're hoping that today will be just as successful as the previous. So yeah, this is the first webinar of our series. We will be following with number 2 and 3, how to perfect your in-molds and also how to perfect your post-mold process. So today presenters is obviously myself, Jim Crawshaw, General Manager at PSI Brand. So very passionate about brand and been in this game for now over 18 years. And joining me today is also Terence Gillen of Paladin Sales, based in Arizona. So thank you, Terence. He's our staunch USA brand ambassador. So Terry, tell us a few words about yourself, please.
Hi everybody, I'm Terry Gillen of Paladin Sales. I've been in rotomolding for over 40 years and always on the supplier side with McNeil Akron and Ferry Industries selling machinery, roto machinery. And in 2006, I started Paladin Sales as a manufacturer's rep company. PSI Brand's Permanent Graphics was one of our first products. They joined us in June of 2006 and they're still here.
Thanks, Terry. It's a pleasure to have you on board, and yeah, thank you very much for your staunch support over the years. Take us through the agenda, please.
All right. In these 20 minutes, we hope to explain the importance of good product branding, and we'll show you what poor branding looks like. And we'll provide a clear path for implementing your branding. Now, we can answer any questions at the end of this presentation. And if you have a question, just go down to chat, click on it. You can enter your question and then send it and we'll get it. And then you might want to X out of it just to make sure you're still on.
Excellent. Thanks, Terry. And I'll just add, we did get some questions prior to this webinar. So we've tried to make these concise and answer them the best way we can. So at the end of this webinar, there's a handful of questions which we will answer. So look forward to that. So for those who don't know much about us or are new to PSI, PSI Brand really was born out of rotational molding. So originally we were rotational molders ourselves. Steve, the managing director, started a agricultural feeder business called Stallion Plastics, which is still going today. They manufacture calf rearing equipment, pig feeders. So yeah, utilizing the rotational molding process back in the 80s and 90s, he was well aware of the inadequate systems that were available and could see the real purpose and need for branding his products. So out of that was born PSI Brand Graphics. So been a lot of development, a lot of progress, and really we see ourselves as adding value to rotational molding parts, making them exceptional. So we have the in-mold and post-mold graphic systems you may be aware of for decorating plastics. These include very sharp barcode imagery and more recently RFID tracking systems, electronic tracking systems molded into your part, surface enhancers, and more recently a permanent paint system. So let us know if any of these are new to you, happy to supply samples. But what we're most famous for is really our small minimum order quantities, or MOQs. So as we started small, we're still very flexible, very nimble. and our fast lead times. So we have a 7-day promise where we can, from order to dispatch. And of course, the easiest application, if you're not finding your process easy and finding it difficult, that means we've got something wrong. So that's why we've really gone into this training process that we're going to talk about today. So why is brand important? I'll just briefly through this. One of Steve Branson's most famous quotes is, a brand is a voice and a product is a souvenir. So really what that's pointing out, and I really like it, because yeah, if you've just got a blank product or a product that's going out the door without your brand on it, really it's just a souvenir. So make it talk with some brand. Imagine Coca-Cola, if they just sent their arguably average product out in just red bottles or red cans, would you trust it? But whereas where it's got Coca-Cola on it, and they also have that slogan, open happiness, it's really wrapping up their customer experience. So, what is brand? It's consistent, really what we do every day. What is it? Do you answer the phone within 5 minutes? Do you offer many different sandblasted or polished surface products to your customers? What do you do extra for your customer, and how is that reflected in your branding? Provide pop in an otherwise crowded market. So it's even more so important, I guess, in today's market and how challenging it is to create that extra pop, create that extra recognition, make sure your brand is shown on your part. So also adds strength to your promise. So what is your brand promise? What is it that you tell your customers that you are the best at? Add strength to that by just backing it up with your brand on the product. So really, yeah, again, sets you apart. Brand sets you apart. Don't risk mediocrity. Don't be just one of the pack. Be the one that's leading the way. No brand, a potential for missed sales. How many times we've had customers come back to us and saying that our product was recognised in the field because they saw our brand. As we've had that story more times than not. So no brand is a potential for missed sales. So get out there, brand your products. Now I just want to spend as little time as possible on this slide about what poor brand looks like, because it's rather negative, and we've all seen examples of it. So the fact is, nothing sticks to plastic. Well, I could re-sentence that by saying that nothing sticks permanently to plastic. So in these cases here, we've seen examples of where we have a plastic product and the branding has started to peel away, or it's scratched off, or it's faded. So what that's shown us is that there's a loss of reputation for that product. We know how much trouble that's gone into prepare the molds to get the customer over the line, for the molder to get the part looking beautiful, and only to have the graphic or the branding let them down. And there is the assumption that poor brand equals poor craftsmanship, which is really unfair. So what are you doing? What are you doing to ensure that you're using your brand in the right way, and that you have confidence that your brand is going to stay stuck? So I'm just going to hand this over now to Terry again, who's going to take us all through some examples of where we've helped customers in different markets and different industries and applications. Thanks, Terry.
Sure, Jim. These are just a few of the industries we've helped to promote their brands. In the marine industry, of course, kayaks of all shapes and sizes. Now, kayakers, they like bright, splashy colors to attract attention, and highly visible caution and instructional graphics for safety. Whitewater kayaks take plenty of abuse from rocks and sand and require cool graphics that last. In addition to logos, commercial and industrial products require informative, instructional, and safety-oriented graphics for use on mowers, chain guards, and fuel tanks and such. From logos and brand names to cautions and instructions, the agriculture industry wants ever larger graphics that last. Attention-getting, Attractive, informative graphics are a must for proud city use in recycling and waste management. From small exercise and training equipment to very large stadium seats, sports and fitness graphics must be eye-catching and promote pride. The stadium seats seen at the left consist of 56 unique post-mold graphics applied to 56 seat backs, creating a single image of a tiger. The total overall size is about 26 feet by 18 feet. Now that's cool, isn't it, Jim?
Absolutely. Thanks, Terry. I will just add that while that stadium seating there is in fact an injection molded HDPE material, it's really just put in there to give you some idea of what possibilities there might be in your business, where we can utilize the digital print technology we have, and that's utilizing the post-mold graphic system. Excellent, thanks Terry, appreciate that quick overview. And I just want to share a couple of quick pics here, these interesting photos, InMold graphics, where the graphic themselves have outlasted 20 years. So in both instances, the brand itself is now extinct. Both products, the Spot Sprayer and the Muaid, you cannot get anymore, but here we still see the graphic lasting longer than the brand itself. So I thought that would just be an interesting slide to share with you. So just moving on, I won't spend too much time on the two main graphic systems that we offer, but in brief, we have the InMold graphic. So while we have different strengths, different constructions, basically they are applied very similarly. So our graphics are self-adhesive. You apply them to the mold and apply pressure to activate the adhesive. You run through your molding process and the graphics come out molded into your part permanently. So then we have our post-mold graphic system. Now this is mainly used in applications where either you have poor mold access or you have product in stock which your clients would like or yourself would like branded. So this is a heat transfer process. So yeah, popular for those type applications where you can't use InMold. Now, what I'm just going to share here is a case study, and you can see the full case study on a website there under psibrand.com/case/study. Now, this is courtesy of Gyro Plastics, 2.5 hours south of here, where we were privileged to go and introduce our graphic systems to. Now, this particular customer wanted to apply graphics, now they're over 900 millimeters long, onto the side of the smart feeder. Now, we tried both the post-mold and the InMold. The post-mold was rather challenging due to the size, and then we had the InMold solution. So brand new mold and a brand new customer, never used our graphics before. I'm just going to run you through a quick little clip and just talk you through what happened. So we provided some operator training using our standard graphics. So yeah, each of the operators there had a turn, and then they went straight on to applying the large graphic. And you can see the size of it there, it's a very large graphic. As I mentioned, it's a brand new mold. And they were able to go through with the molding process, open the tool, and yeah, overall we came out with a brilliant result. So what it really pointed out to us is, how can we copy and paste this? How can we do this, this sort of training and offer it to other customers globally, especially in the face of the current pandemic and the the face-to-face contact being really clamped down on. Terry, you had some comments on this, didn't you?
Yeah, Jim, thanks. This reminds me of something. Back in the early days, I was talking graphics to a rotomolder that had a proprietary line of calf huts and feeders. He stopped me very quickly and he said, "Terry, cows can't read. Why do I want to put graphics on my feeder? Well, he's right. Cows can't read, but most purchasing agents can. It says a lot to your customers when you're proud enough of your product to put your name on it. I told him that. And he asked me for some free samples, so mission was accomplished. Back to you, Jim.
Nice one. Appreciate the insight and the touch of humor there. Awesome. Thanks, Terry. So how to brand with confidence. Here's how we can copy and paste globally. So what we've set up is an online training platform. And through this, there's 3 stages that I'd like to just briefly touch on. First, you can go in and become PSI certified. Then you can submit a video of your process to become approved. And then I guess the foremost and final step is to attend a PSI masterclass. So we started running these masterclasses late last year and had many planned for 2020 throughout the US, Australia, and even one in Belgium, which Walter was going to run. Obviously, COVID came in and interrupted a lot of these plans. So we're taking this platform now onto Zoom, and I'll talk to you a little more about this. But hey, what we're encouraging you to do is to register now. It's a free training platform, psibrand.com/get certified. So I encourage you to get onto there and just follow through that easy to use process. So the first step, as I mentioned, is you register online and you complete 5 modules. So there's 5 modules, 1 for each graphic type, and what that consists of is a video, some training resource, and 5 to 6 fundamental questions to answer. Now you must answer each to move on to the next module. So great training platform for your staff. Really the benefits of it is you can upskill anytime, get your new staff on board fast, and really, your first step towards excellence. So the second stage, as mentioned, once you're certified, is to become PSI approved. So at this stage, you request a welcome pack, and this welcome pack consists of each of the different graphic types. So yeah, really fun, really practical part of the process. And essentially, you apply the graphics at your own plant on your own products, video the evidence based on some credentials, and send to us for to be judged. So yeah, it's hands-on training, more real time. You video the process, and that is uploaded via the portal for us to judge on our recommended process. And the benefit of it is the company and the operator becomes accredited. So essentially what we're saying is your first choice of reference to end users. We are wanting to work with customers and promote our customers that we know are confident with our system. So that's PSI approved. Moving on to the masterclasses. So yeah, as mentioned, these were previously held. We've previously held them at on site, either at a customer's premise or at some industry-specific events. And now with the COVID, we're running these via Zoom. So we send you a welcome pack, and we're combining the certified and the approval stages together. So we're running through each of the graphic types, and we are also doing some hands-on training and using the welcome pack. So we send to you. It's very interactive. It's very fun, and yeah. So what we're looking to do in the master classes is get 6 to 12 attendees together, and we arrange a time to meet via Zoom for a 60 to 90-minute session. So a great start for any inexperienced, any new companies, and for faster onboarding of your crew. So I trust it makes sense. It's a very quick overview, but we're very excited. We just want to get as many customers on board as possible so we can tweak and improve and help you, join the ranks of the confident. So you can go on to Instagram. There's many examples of where we've helped customers and they're confidently using our processes, different graphic processes. So yeah, before we wrap up, I did mention we had some questions that we're going to answer, but just in conclusion and takeaway, to be or not to be, brand is for you. It couldn't be more important today than ever. With contracting markets, the cost of poor brand is not affordable. So if you're going to do it, please do it right. Please do it right. We do have some processes we can help you with. Prove you can add value to your clients. We've heard that in times of recession, times that are tough, there are ways and means to improve your service to your customer. Here is a way to add value. Give them something extra. So get started. Just encourage you all to go on to psibrand.com /get certified, and that there's some very good tutorials in there, guides you step by step of the way. Connect for the upcoming webinars. So as I mentioned, we've got more webinars coming up on both specifically the in-mold and specifically the post-mold. We look to continue these webinars, so just email me, let me know if you'd like to keep receiving these invites or not receiving them. So yeah, as mentioned, we come to the final stage of the questions. So we had some questions come in, a number of them, and we just tried to simplify them and just summarize, how what the general questions were and answer them the best way we can. So yeah, one of the questions we've got here is how long do the graphics last? And a great question, absolutely love it. I guess my first answer to that is go back and have a look at that slide again, where we had graphics lasting over 20 years. What is your application? Hardly two applications are the same. So we can, adjust and build a construction that's going to suit you. But essentially, we're building the graphics to last as long as your product. Did you have any more around that, Terry?
Yeah, I generally get questions about the opacity of a graphic, like the color white. If you put white on a black part, does the white turn gray? And then in our case, of course, it doesn't. It just stays a brilliant white. So that's one I get asked quite often.
Gotcha. Yeah. So that probably moves us on to the next question there. How consistent are your colors? And just on that, I guess I could answer this a couple of different ways. As far as color consistency, we use the Pantone matching system. So if you, as long as you quote Pantone matching numbers, we will then get your color absolutely correct. Another fail-safe way is to send us a sample of what you want us to match to, and we can match to that. But essentially, all our graphics are backed with a white back print or are printed onto opaque films, which will ensure color consistency across any color parts. Yeah, I trust that answers that one adequately. Another one we had was around chemical and UV resistance. So chemical and UV resistance, yeah, two different things really. I guess chemical, what sort of chemicals are you talking about? We looked at where we're serving the agricultural industry with spray tanks. I mean, they're obviously using a lot of volatiles, hopefully less volatiles these days. Petrol tanks, as you saw in the zero-turn mowers, diesel tanks. We're using our graphics on industrial items where they're going through pressure washing. So all our graphics are coated with clear coats, which give it chemical, UV and abrasion resistance. UV, where are you in the world? We do as much UV testing as we can through accelerated testing, live testing outdoors. Here in New Zealand, we have, unfortunately, one of the highest UV ratings. So on a positive, it gives us a chance to test outdoors. But we've tested from 5,000 up to 8,000 hours with no fade on our graphics. So as always, we ask you to do your own testing in your environment. Does that answer that one, Terry? Do you think?
No, that's pretty good. I got it. That's done.
Thank you, sir. How to use the portal? Thanks for asking that. So the portal that that I mentioned before is very easy accessible. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to quickly show you, I'll quickly do a screen share of my screen here. So what I'm, just make sure these other boxes I've got to close down. So you jump onto our homepage here, and across the menu bar to the right, you have the portal. So you just click on the portal here. And if it's the first time that you've been on, you will be asked to register. So you just need to go down to the bottom here and click register now to register your details. If you've been in before, you'll come up with a screen a bit like this, and you just need to click login, which has your username and password. So you get into the portal, and the portal looks a bit like this. We have PSI certified, PSI approved, PSI master, and it'll tell you which stage you're at. So I trust that makes sense. All right, we just had a couple more questions that have popped up. So let me just get back to my screen here, and I'll answer those questions in the best way possible. One of them is mold temperature. So what mold temperature, assuming this is related to in-mold graphics? Great question. All our graphics are designed to work at 40 degrees C. Convert that to Fahrenheit, please, Americans. So 40 degrees C, although we have had some customers apply them at up to 90 to 100 degrees C. So due to the flexible nature of the film, it does allow them to tolerate very high heats. I trust that answers that question. If you get a cooler mold temperature, you would then start running into trouble, say around 4 degrees C. And that's why we recommend you don't preload your molds for the following day's cycle. Free samples available for your own testing? Absolutely. So that's a question that came up. We do provide free samples for your own testing. These can be custom made per your artwork. So talk to us about that. I'm more than happy to help you out. So yeah, that really brings us to the conclusion. We're bang on 30 minutes, so thanks for staying with us. Just want to thank Terry as well for joining us today. It's been a pleasure to have you on board, Terry. Any final words of wisdom?
Been a pleasure to be here, and if anybody has any questions or anything I can help them with, just contact me. There's my email address. You can call. There we go.
Absolutely. So, and I will just mention, we will send an email straight after this webinar. We're just asking for your feedback on it, how you felt it went out of 1 to 10. And if there's anything more we can help you with, please let us know. And with that, we'll send you a recording. So thank you very much, and goodbye.
Thanks. Bye now.